G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 21 of my Beginners of Vitality Caster Ritualist playthrough. Last episode we finished up Act 1, and this episode we're going to be doing Act 2. So without any further ado, let's get on with it. As far as skills go, last episode we picked up the Storm Totem, and then we turned it into a Vitality Totem. And then for devotions, we are now working on the Dying God here. Right, with that said, let's go do it. So Act 2, not expecting anything too terribly difficult here. It's more or less just going to be a walkthrough. Or a stroll through with Ravenous Earth all over the place. Not too terribly difficult. The base game acts, when you are starting with pretty much max everything resist, are fairly tame. Especially in Act 1. Because it doesn't matter if your resistances are 0 if the enemies are all basic zombies and they can't hit you because they're big, dumb, stupid, and slow. Oh, I see that totem. So I will be doing totems as I find them, surprising absolutely nobody. I do love me some totems. So I'm going to throw these down, just basically stack up a little bit of damage before we get started, really. Not that it really matters, we throw out the Ravenous Earth fast enough that it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to pick all this up and I will have a look at those pants, because Stonehide is a pretty good prefix for resistances. Unfortunately, I don't think I can use that because Aether and Elemental would both be, well, let's just say it wouldn't be good for the numbers. Alright, let's head up this way. We can go and see the caravanners. They should be just here. Yep, so Drew Larkin. And you definitely want to side with the other bloke, Isaiah Redden. Because as nice as the ring you get for killing him is, getting access to free, quote-unquote, resistance potions is way better in my opinion. So we're just going to duck into the Spine Cove here. There is a devotion shrine right next to the door, so we'll go in, we'll hit the shrine, and then pretty much leave. We could go down and kill Barros Radlith, we could stay here and murder ghosts, but honestly there's no benefit at all for this. So let's just pop this and then we'll be on our way. I think I'm going to stop concentrating on putting the totems down as well. They don't really do much at this point. 1 point totem, really low damage. Let's just pick some of this up so we can clear the area. And in the devotions we get 35 spirit and 3% OA. That's actually not terrible. More OA is more crit, which is great. And then spirit increases all of our magical damage. So not a bad node, not particularly fancy, not very sexy, but it works. Let's just run away from that. These things are run enders. Now probably I'd be fine if I only got hit by one, but there was a lot of golems there, so we'll just play coward and keep our character alive. Here we go. So we are an ultimate now, and this is one of the, I would say this is probably the third best location for farming totems. So if you wanted to, you can run up this way. You can clear the map just here. There's a totem spawn there. You can also run over this way and clear the map again, because same reason. Looks like I'm actually going to get the totem as well, which is lovely. I do like some totem action. And now we pretty much just stand here and hold right click. Turn the loot off, I can see what's going on. Get out of the goop is always a good thing to do. Oh, and I've been skeletoned. Been locked in place by these big guys, have like a bone cage ability. If you ever played the original Diablo 2, it's similar to the Diablo fight where he'll put a cage of bones up around you. Except for these guys, you can't just kill the bone cage and be on your way. Right, so none of this is looking particularly amazing. We'll pick it all up anyway. One of the great things about playing a build that has such widespread, let's call it, monster infrequent support, one of the great things is you know exactly where to go to get upgrades. One of the downsides is nothing else matters. Most of these items I'm not even going to look at. Anything that's a weapon, don't care. Anything that's a helmet, don't care. Anything that's a medal, anything that's a belt, none of that matters. It's like basically these 5 slots here is pretty much it. And I've already got the Death Watcher pendant of the Grove, so I kind of don't care about amulets either. It does make gearing a lot easier, but it also makes it a lot more one-dimensional. And I missed out on Isaiah, so we're going to go back and talk to him. I also didn't uncover all of the totem locations, but that's kind of okay. Say what you have. Okay, so let's just restart that so I can mention it. Most of you probably already know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Always take the top option here. So if you tell him to say what he has to say, but make it quick, this is basically, as long as you don't go back on it, you are siding with him. If you say, I don't care, give me half your profits, you'll get some bits and, I mean, he'll give you half his profits, basically. But when you find him later, he won't sell you the resistance potions. And if you choose to kill him, well, he's dead, so he can't sell you anything. So I pretty much always want to side with him. You could make the argument on normal difficulty that his ring that has chaos resistance on it is quite nice for Homestead. But the resistance potions are just way too good. In fact, Zantai, if you ever watch this, I say laughing to myself knowing he won't. But yeah, definitely nerf that, please. It's too good. There's actually no choice there. Alright, we'll vendor these, and then we will go on our way. Now, I am looking for the insect jelly. I don't know if I have any in the stash. I probably have some. I don't know if I have 3. So I'm just going to go through this area anyway. Before I go in, however, there's another potential totem just around the corner here. Even if I don't get the totem, I do want to clear this part of the map so as I can see it. This one is a little bit weird in that you have to get very close to it normally before it pops up on the map. It's kind of weird like that. Sometimes you'll see it from miles away, but most of the time you pretty much have to be standing on top of it before it actually shows up on the map. So it's a little bit, what's the word? Not really frustrating, but it definitely can be at times. Okay, still looking for jelly. I've got 2. Okay, so we'll probably be fine. Most of the time, if you've got 2 at this point, you'll find a 3rd one somewhere. There's a lot of the little hive things to click on. And if you get another hero, most of the heroes are going to drop one, so it should be fine. Okay, and as long as I don't get one shot, Balthazar here should just pretty much be a spank and tank. There he goes. Calidor's vestment. Alright, we can eat that blueprint and then forget about it. So I was saying earlier that I should be fine for getting Royal Jelly. There we go. I was going to say it's getting a little bit close. That's right, we got there in the end. Got exactly 3 so far, and it looks like exactly 3 is what I'm going to end up with. So if you don't get your 3 from here, there's a massive beehive up ahead. The Queen will guarantee drop 1, and then it's... I think it's got a chance to drop up to 2 or 3, I forget. Totem here, but the reason we're up here is actually to talk to Elder Matthias. And we're going to take his relic back to the rovers. We have no need for it. In order for us to dual wield our weapons, we actually need to use the Blade Dancer's totem, or Blade Sworn Talisman, rather. I definitely could upgrade that now that I'm looking at it. I don't know that it would be worth the components, but getting the higher level version might be worth it just for, I don't know, maybe it's got a little bit of extra resistance on it or something. Definitely not the end of the world if you don't do it. That'll be fine. Coming up on another Devotion Shrine, which I'm excited for because more power. We get a couple more Devotion Shrines, and once we get that proc on the Dying God, that's it. We don't need to worry about devotions ever again. The Vitality Caster Devotion setup is... I'm not going to say it's 100% set in stone, but it's very well understood, and getting alternates is usually not something you do. For a Vitality Caster, you generally want this setup. Okay, Vengeful Wraith. I think I can just craft that. I don't normally enjoy going back to town to craft a component, but we'll see. If I don't have the blueprint, we're just going to skip this one. Vengeful Plating, don't have it. Alright, skip. There are plenty of devotion shrines. There's more than 3 times the number you need, so if you have to skip one, the worst thing that's happening is you delay getting that proc by, what, 15-20 minutes. It's not the end of the world. If, however, you absolutely cannot walk past a devotion shrine, I definitely understand. You can get the blueprint for that particular component from the rovers, I think. So this guy right here. Hang on. Venge. There it is. Alright, well, I'll have it for later. There we go. Okay, so we have the troll we have to kill, and we have enough royal jelly. You probably have some from normal difficulty if you didn't get enough, but failing that, just back down here. Just go into the wasp nest here, kill the queen, and you will guaranteed get one. Alright, so Golgoth the Rampaging. Again, as long as we don't get one shot, which we shouldn't because we have decent armor. Not amazing, but decent. And we have a ton of health. So we should just kill him. Usually by this point, I would expect somewhere around 10,000 hit points. We have 15. We are absolutely rolling in hit points. Now, the other thing I was trying to decide here, Necromancer Tree is basically done. These 2 nodes are the only ones I would consider putting points into, and then around level 90, I might maybe put some more in Mark of Torment. 21% damage absorption is nice. If you put another, 7 points in here, it'll go up to 35. So, nice, but not really worth the skill points at this point. Same with Foul Eruption. This would be extra damage, but you only get that damage when something dies. So this is the corpse explosion pop at the end. You have to actually kill something with the Ravenous Earth hit, and then their body will explode, and do some Aether and Vitality damage to whatever happens to be alive still. So if you're fighting one boss, this does literally nothing. You also don't get the resistance shredding unless you have killed something and the thing you want to shred was standing on top of it. So again, very low priority on Foul Eruption. Good for clearing trash, not much use for anything else. Soul Harvest would be decent. Getting a larger damage percentage is always better, but you're going from 20 to 30%. It's really small, and the flat damage only gets applied to Bone Harvest. The Storm Totem does not do weapon damage, it just does flat damage. Where are we? Devouring Swarm, also no weapon damage. No weapon damage on Ravenous Earth. So this is also quite low priority. So nothing in Necro's looking really good. We could put another 10 points in the bar, which would give us some more stats, which I'll definitely do. So that leaves Heart of the Wild for more health, which we already have piles of, so again, low priority. Or we can pump Storm Totem. The Mogdragon's Pact line, the only useful thing here is the energy and health regen. That flat physical damage, again, it's only being applied to Bone Harvest anyway, and we don't really do physical damage, so this is basically wasted points. So Heart of the Wild, Storm Totem, we'll push this up. And I think we're just going to max the Storm Totem. It's an extra attack we can cast in between while we're waiting for Ravenous Earth. So we'll do that. Now, I'm coming into the Hanafi mine because I want to avoid Wreck by Protoss and Obsidian. You definitely don't have to do this. That's just kind of one of the 2 benefits of coming in here. The other one is the guaranteed dynamite spawn, which Yeah, I wouldn't mind some more dynamite. You do also occasionally get extra dynamite from all these little clickables, especially the scrap piles. So if there's usually a scrap pile here, if you hit the scrap piles, you can potentially get 2, 3 dynamite spawns in here. But coming this way, it's almost as fast as running sort of up here through the gate, hug the wall, that sort of thing. It's about the same time. And this way gets you a dynamite. It also gets you 0 risk of being ganked by wrecked by Protoss. So those characters were from a PvP tournament. They are designed to kill players, and they're decently tough unless you obviously know what you're doing and you're prepared to fight them. You can definitely kill them, but they are more dangerous than not. Alright, some free loot hidden in a little rock there. And we are definitely... Actually, I need to go eat some conversation pie. Hopefully I haven't killed a whole bunch of those forges and not gotten the updates because I didn't have the quest.
Well, you work, dear.
Okay, we'll talk to old mate here. Clicking green ticks is hard. Okay, so that's fine. We may as well talk to Skinner while we're here as well. Good name, that. Not at all foreboding. Especially when you've got your family locked inside a house and your name is Skinner. The ring is actually not bad. If you're playing a first character and you haven't farmed rings because they are monster infrequents that you need for your build, this ring is not horrible. I guess especially if you're doing a physical build, but we're not, so just vendor that. Okay. I've got to remind myself not to clear my rift.
Keep your weapons.
Okay, we have a deal. Alright, I think I have the bandit. Yeah, missed out. Okay, that's fine. There are enough bandit forges, I think. I may be one short, but that's fine. Worst case, I reset and then just pop outside from Crumley's hideout and do it that way. I can see that totem, and I'm pretty sure it's, yeah, it's in a previous area. No, it's not. Okay, it's up here. Yeah. Yeah, that's a decent walk away, so I'm just not going to do that one. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Alright, there's one of my forges. Second one just up here, and the third one is going to be over this way. So I was remembering correctly, and we are fine. Free dynamite. You'll love to see that. Alright, last forge just over here. There's my forges. I'm going to kill Leander Green. Interesting fact, Leander Green actually has a higher chance to drop her own blue pistol than other random heroes in the area. Just thought that was interesting. Or at least she used to. I can't promise that that's still the case. But I remember Xantai saying that that was the case. Someone was asking on, I think on the official forums, maybe a year back now. They were saying, you know, where can I get this pistol? Like, I can't find it. And Xantai responded that you might want to find the person with the name. Okay, Moneybags is probably the most dangerous thing in here. As soon as it dies, make sure you get out of the fire that you will be standing in. Boots of Primordial Rage. No. Less damage, less armor, just less. So we're not going to be using that. I will be heading down here for the Devotion Shrine. And honestly, I'm sorely tempted to go back to town and craft a Vengeful Spirit now that I have the blueprint. It would involve a decent amount of running. Probably should have just done it in the first place. Anyway, I didn't. Maybe I'll do it after I kill Crumley. Let's go ahead and spend that point. What do we get this time? We've got OA, DA, and some Chaos Resist. That's actually pretty good. More Chaos Res is never a bad thing. It means I can swap out the augments that I have on my weapons if I can find something better. Let's say I needed I don't know, cold resistance, perhaps, or poison or something. Could maybe swap out the Void Vine powders, which otherwise do basically nothing for me. So I'm more than 12% Chaos Res over, so I can swap those out. Though having said that, I generally don't bother too much with components until at least level 90 and revered with the Witch Gods. But there might be something good we could use. Okay, if you didn't get money bags right at the start, there's a good chance he's going to be here. It's 50-50, he's either here or he's not. And it's also 50-50 because there's only one other place he could be. So it works both ways. Dureni, because I didn't kill him in Act 1, I get to fight him here. This will slow down your farming of Cronley, if that's something you want to do. If it's not something you want to do, if it's not something you care about, he is really useful here for... wait for it. 112 reputation. Every time you come through here, you will get that. There's another piece of the Perdition set, which I definitely have 2 pieces of now, unfortunately. It's not the gloves, and I need the helmet. So we won't be doing that. Where's my scrap pile, guys? I need my scrap pile that has dynamite in it. For anyone who's wondering why I'm so kind of focused on collecting dynamite, it's mostly because I like to do treasure troves, and every single one of them requires a dynamite. And yes, you can craft dynamite. 3 Aether Crystals will turn into an Aether Shard, will turn into, I think, 3 dynamites. But that's Aether Crystals that I have to farm now. So if I can get dynamite and such while I'm doing the campaign, then it saves me farming Aether Crystals later. Okay, I'm checking for the totem in the area. It appears that it did not spawn here, so it's probably that one outside that I saw. It could be kind of here-ish, or it could be kind of here-ish. And if you didn't get money bags yet, he'll be here. So do be wary of money bags as well. He shreds fire resistance. He does a decent amount of fire damage. He's not someone you want to be just casually attacking. Alright, same deal for Cronley, actually. Aether resistance is quite important for him. If you don't have it capped by this point, you probably want to go get a potion. You've most likely found the resistance potion blueprint for Aether resistance pots by now, but definitely want to have one. Alright, so first time fighting Cronley, he wants to have a chat, but I don't really care. Okay. When he puts his shield up, we kind of have to run away. So we'll do that. You also want to make sure you're not standing in the little piles of green goop on the floor. So he will put a pile of green goop under your feet every second or so. Or I think it's every couple seconds. But you can see I'm standing in goop. While I can hurt him, I don't care about that. But as soon as he puts his shield up, my lifesteal will basically disappear. Or as soon as he dies, my lifesteal will disappear. And if I was still standing in that green goop, my health bar would be dropping a lot. This is just probably the last 1 or 2. He'll stack them up and they will keep stacking. And you can be standing in 6, 7, 8 of them at a time. And you can really take some pretty serious damage from it. Ask me how I know. Don't get distracted by the shiny loot. Alright, Aether Cluster doesn't really matter here. I've got tons of Aether Clusters. So if we keep some for ourselves, we get an Aether Cluster. If you blow it up, you get 2 crystals and 2 components. There you go. I do like to check that bookcase for free XP. Alright, so let's head out of here. Don't forget, every time I do Cronley, I have to say this because I keep forgetting it. Don't forget that you will want to come out the back here and get yourself the waypoint before you leave. So if you find a really nice upgrade and you want to go back to town and swap your components or whatnot, don't. Come out here and get the waypoint first, because otherwise you're going to have to run all the way through Crunley's lair. And everything's going to be dead, and it's a very long, very boring run. Okay. With that done, let's go get ourselves a Vengeful Spirit, and we'll go get that Devotion Shrine. I should have done this. Definitely should have done this, but I was being stubborn. Okay, don't need the Rift Gate anymore, so let's go to the old Arcovia Rift. And we're going to run backwards. The other thing we can do while we're here is turn in a bunch of quests, including down here. They shouldn't bother you anymore, thank you very much. And you just get some scrap and XP for free. There's, I think, 3 different ways, possibly 4, that you can complete that quest. The easiest one is to just ignore it until after you've killed Crumley, and then it's just pure profit. Okay, forges are done. Killed moneybags. You're welcome. Found some text, thank you very much, and I'm not interested in doing the Rover's Honored quest. It does get you a Devotion Shrine, but it is a lot of running around, a lot of running into Chthonian Plains, and just generally not worth the effort. Okay, skill points into Storm Totem, attribute point into Physique. At this point, I think 30 in Spirit is kind of enough. I want a little bit more DA because, well, chance to miss. Defensive ability for most builds is kind of optional. I have killed the Ravager with him having like a 20-something% chance to crit me. It just kind of doesn't matter if you've built your character well. If you're relying on defensive ability to not die, you have problems with the rest of your build. Alright, 100% vitality damage, 30 defensive ability. All really good, but the important part here is we have another Devotion Shrine here in Twin Falls, and that's going to be the final one we need. So let's go get the fun button. Do keep in mind that the proc on the Dying God does drain your health. Also, this guy is reflecting a whole bunch of damage back at us, which I don't love. This build does have pretty good vitality resist, so we're unlikely to kill ourselves with that, but it does add up. Okay, we've got Annihilation there. We've got the Channeling Orb of the Covenant, which may be worth looking at. Probably not. But nope, it's just Chaos. I was thinking that might be Chaos and Vitality, but turns out no. Vestments of Severed Faith. Not really, although the physical resistance on that would be nice. And I guess the skill on it would be okay, but none of that, none of that. Eat the blueprints. That's all of the blueprints we have, so yep. Let's be on our way. So we've done the totem. The only other thing of note in this area, I guess, is the... Tip the scales. The only other thing of note is the Devotion Shrine, and I mean, I guess you could talk about the Colosseum off to the left there. Let's do this quest as well. I hate this quest. It's... Actually doing it is fine, but running all the way out to the Steps of Torment to turn it in and get it off your screen is really irritating. It's a very long run, and unless you're planning on going into the Steps of Torment, there's not much point. Alright, here we go. Let's start this bad boy. I think we've maybe got enough skill points in the totems now to make it worth putting them down. Okay, Guardsman's Defender, not so much. Let's just give you one of those out there. Why do I feel like there's extra skeletons being dragged out of the ground here? The other thing I'm thinking is if I don't need the skill for a proc, so Wendigo's Mark is on Bone Harvest. Twin Fang's there, this is going to be Ratosh. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to need to use the Storm Totem to proc the Dying God here, I think. Let's see what we need. Yeah, yep. I can't put it on the totem. That's lovely, isn't it? Let's put you on there, and we'll put you on Bone Harvest. Okay, so Hungering Void here does have a long recharge and a decently long duration. It's not going to be active all of the time, but it's active a lot. It does drain your health to give you all that extra crit and vitality damage. The total speed is nice. The Terrify Retaliation is kind of whatever. So you want this on something with a decent cooldown that you don't use often. So putting that on Bone Harvest would be fine. Putting it on Devouring Swarm is not okay because we're using this fairly regularly. We want other things on that, so probably Bone Harvest is the best option there. Let's see if I can get this to trigger. Wait, I'm using the wrong skill. Let's see if we can get this to trigger. There we go. So we've got Hungering Void. Health is degenning at this point. And it's fine. 140 a second, which is what I think it is. Hang on, let me double check that. Yeah, 140 health per second is basically nothing at this point. If we just ran around spamming Devouring Swarm on things, we would easily out-heal that just from the skill itself, never mind the Bat Fang proc. Okay, so we'll get through here. We've got to go and find... Where is he? It's Nomos Dread first, I think. I didn't grab the Lectern outside either, so I'm going to have to find them. Here's one. So we're very rapidly becoming a... what's the word? A piano build here. And when you're playing a piano build, what you can do is you can just spam all the buttons all the time. You want to be careful doing that though, because if it decides it wants to cast Devouring Swarm instead of something else, Devouring Swarm has no cooldown. Ooh, Empowered Padala's Will. Okay, that one's really good. Okay, we can... Where is it? Padala's Will here. That gives us a decent chunk of vitality damage. It gives us +2, or sorry, +1 to Necromancer skills, which is really good. If you wanted to use this and then go back to either Mortality, I think would be the way to go on your Relic, this is definitely an option. It's a really good option too. So if you don't want to dual wield, we would be losing +2 to Ravenous Earth, +2 to Devouring Swarm. It's honestly probably better to stay with the Bone Spike, but getting your Relic back is also really, really good. And Mortality, which... Do I have the blueprint for that? Mortality is +1 to Necro skills, so actually we're getting +2 to Necro skills. The only reason I'm not straight up telling you absolutely swap this in and go get Mortality is because of the 0.4 second recharge on Ravenous Earth here. So Mortality does have a... I don't have it. Alright, so there was a section here at the end about how you could reset Hiram and he would sell you the Mortality blueprint in order to craft the Mortality relic. And I'm glad I checked, because it turns out that he doesn't sell that. Plaudia here sells it. So there's the relic for Mortality. +1 to all skills in Necro, some vitality damage, and then the Mortality proc there is also quite nice. The downside to this one, though, is you need Honored to buy this. So I'm a little bit short on reputation. I am actually going to go and do some bounties in order to get this, because I do think that Mortality plus Padala's Will here is probably almost as good, if not better, than having a second Bone Spike. So I'm going to do this off camera, and I am going to end the episode here. So I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.